What we're going to do is a simulation. What we're trying to get across is the different ways in which you can package using standard EMS equipment. In the North Shore Rescue Team, we work on a layered response. We work on basic life support and advanced life support.
Joining the North Shore Search and Rescue Team was probably one of the best ideas of my life. The training I got, the camaraderie, the pride.
The group as a whole is just amazing because we've got so many amazing technicians, physicians, people that are doing stuff that hadn't been done in Canada before. They're all developing things and they're all geared towards helping people when they need help out in the outdoors.
When I started, I thought I'd find like-minded folks who like the outdoors. I'd probably learn a few things. I had no idea how close I'd become to so many of these folks, doing things that I never even thought were possible.
There was a lot of obviously highly skilled people who loved the mountains. I felt I shared equal love for the mountains and just the desire to get out in the field and help people.
Being part of North Shore Rescue is not just to respond to calls or take training. Being part of North Shore Rescue is a total commitment by the time you're through. You may not realize it initially, but you become so entwined with the team that, I mean, for example, we have second generation team members. That didn't just happen by luck. That happened because the whole family is involved. Tim Jones' son, Curtis, is on the team. Carl Winter, one of the founding members. His son, Greg, is on the team. Mike Danks, the son of Alan Danks.
And there's a fantastic photograph of the three older fellas with the three sons on their knees. I love that bit. I joined the North Shore Rescue Team in 1971. I'd gained so much in experience, camaraderie, and goodwill rescuing people that I really wanted that to be shared by the children. So when Mike said he would go for it, I was ecstatic.
You know, I think it goes without saying that, you know, my dad is the reason I'm on this team.
I'm the father of the first son that joined the North Shore Rescue Team, and I'm really proud of that.
I think we're really lucky with North Shore Rescue to be surrounded by so many amazing people. There are always challenges along the road, but there are people that have your back, you know, and that's the important thing. And it's not just about calls, it's about family, it's about support.
There is an impact on personal life. Your family knows you're involved, they support you. Your employer knows you're involved. Hopefully they also support you, and many, many did.
When I started interviewing for jobs through my career, I always had to mention it during the interview that, by the way, I might miss some work.
I sometimes wondered if, because I was away so much, they might think, you know, things worked pretty good without Wally there. Maybe we don't really need him. But fortunately, that never happened, but that certainly crossed my mind. But I was treated extremely well by the company that I worked for.
For those of us who worked for larger organizations, often could get our time off with pay. I think the guys who really had to think about it were guys who were carpenters or plumbers or electricians, and they were sole entrepreneurs. That was their, you know, if they didn't show up at work, there was no money coming in.
When I joined the team, I think the worst part for me was I had a job that was paid by the hour. So if I took time off to go onto a search, I would lose money. I also had a family with 3 kids to support, so that was always a little bit of a controversial for me, and I tended to pick the, if you will, more important searches to sacrifice this loss of income with. If it was a weekend, no problem.
And for those of us that work a more traditional 9-to-5 type job, most employers find a way to be flexible and allow people to take time off fairly spontaneously to respond. When it's an actual search or rescue, it's not pre-scheduled. So there's a lot of people who are members of the team but aren't on the team in the form of family and spouses and kids that pick up the slack and have a lot of understanding for when our team members are called away.
I was very fortunate because my family was very supportive, and it's hard on them, because these calls don't come at the most convenient times.
I joined when I was newly married, no kids yet. So once I did have kids, that was part of the life. Dad took off sometimes.
I guess it was good for the first little bit, and then the gully narrowed down and they had to ditch their skis and walk, and it's pretty miserable going from there.
Like, it takes a lot away from your family. Like my wife, that wasn't fair for me to be gone that long with her, and leave her the babies. You realize that after the fact. At the time you're thinking, I'm doing something good for society, and you kind of put your family on the back burner.
I have been abandoned in restaurants. Like a rescue team Christmas party, all the guys got up and went off on a search, and all the women figured out how to get home. And dinner parties, constantly. You're constantly being abandoned, which actually wasn't too bad, because they're going out and they're doing great stuff.
It's rarely at a convenient time. Once in a while you're sitting around saying, it'd be perfect if we had a call right now. It just never comes. It comes when you don't really want it, and it's difficult.
Was it hard on the family? Absolutely. My wife was incredibly supportive. We had 2 young kids. The pager would go off in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock, and I'd be rushing for the door, and she'd be rushing out to make me a hot thermos of tea and a snack. Now she's just like, get out the door and don't wake me up.
In the middle of a movie, a pager would go off just like my cell phone does now, and then I would get up and leave, and Jane would be sort of, well, I guess you have to, but now she has to go home and I'm out with a group of guys doing something, and she's home by herself. So that wasn't too fair.
Most people just had 1 pager per home. We were simultaneous pagers on each side of the bed.
You're not waking one person up while the other one leaves, since we're both getting up to go. I was in my late 30s. Bridget's a couple of years younger than me.
It was something that I really wanted to do.
All of the demands of the team in terms of training, call-outs, activities, we do together. And so that was a great joy to be able to actually share all of that and do all these things together.
Thankfully, I do surround myself with pretty understanding and positive people, and a lot of people that do recreate out here as well, so they understand the value of our work and give me a bit more leeway when I just have to ditch the dinner party.
Mark, my husband, he works full-time too. Thankfully, he's been extremely supportive in having me go. The first call I was back on, he was so chill about it. He's like, yep, I got the dog, I got the baby, get out of here. The other thing is the team really does know that families are important. The team is a family in itself. Our ability to respond ebbs and flows with our lives, whether that's children or job changes or relationship changes, and I think that's understood and respected.
Myself and my teammates were ready, willing, and able to give our time and effort to the team. That's a personal choice that we have made. But our family doesn't necessarily make the choice.
You're going to move back to me 1 foot on 3. 1, 2, 3.
People want to recognize us as volunteers. We give of ourselves. Yeah, it's our choice. It's not necessarily our family's choice. The families need recognition too.
I think there was an understanding on behalf of most of the partners, spouses, wives, husbands, that this was part and parcel of who you were with. And you had to learn to live with it and learn to trust that they weren't going to take unnecessary risks and that they were going to come back safe. And you just had to keep your fingers crossed.
There was an accident, and a team member was badly injured down a crevasse, and Roger had to go down to be with him. And again, I was at the office on the radios, and I could hear everything going on, and I could hear Roger saying, there is somebody up there, up top, right? You guys are there. And I'm thinking, oh, this is almost unbearable.
I think it was after one of the team members, Jim Titterley, was seriously injured in a fall. And that's when it hit home that this could happen to any one of the guys that were out, and it could happen to Ross. That really brought it home, I think, to a lot of us that they weren't immune from an accident happening to them while they were on a rescue. So that probably heightened the tension a bit.
Right from the beginning, I was in awe of the work that they did. It was led by Tim Jones, who was the leader at the time.
If you go anywhere in our province right now, you can have thousands and thousands of people in these recreational areas.
And he was a very vicarious, passionate paramedic and leader of North Shore Rescue.
It was his passion that really drove him, and when he passed away, we were all in shock.
Tim, unfortunately, suffered a cardiac arrest on Mount Seymour 10 years ago, and I was the duty supervisor that night. Tim responded to the call, as well as the NSR, the North Shore Rescue people, were also responding, and with the fire department and ALS and BLS, and unfortunately, Tim never got resuscitated. Tim made such an impact in North Shore Rescue that it's where it is today. So.
People lined Lonsdale Avenue to pay their respects to him and the team. And it was a day that, none of us will forget. Sorry.
For SAR members, we sometimes do things that can be what you call a critical incident. So having to handle a dead body, having to deal with someone who has severe injuries. These are not things that our members see or do on a regular basis and can be quite stressful.
There was this young boy about 6 or 7 years old called Eagle Brown, and he was up at Rubble Creek by Whistler. And him and his brother were having a great day throwing rocks into the river, and it was kind of whitewater river. And unfortunately, he fell in. So by the time we got the call, he'd been in the water for hours, so we knew it wasn't going to be a good call. That's when I knew that, it wasn't all rainbow and sunshine, that, you're going to see, smell, and do unbelievably terrible things to get through these rescues.
I've been on search and rescue for 20 years and never really thought about my mental health like most young men. I felt like I was invincible physically and mentally.
M Creek was the first of a number of road washouts on the Squamish Highway back in the 1980s. There were 8 people in a van. They all went off the road and didn't make it. When I opened up the back door of the van, that's when we made the discovery. That was one that I won't forget. I still remember that.
When I lost my best friend, Bob McGregor, on Mount Tantalus, it tore me apart and put me in a place of I'm never going to let this happen again. And it started me on the wrong road.
That was hugely impactful, not only in me, but the whole team. And at that time, they brought in an individual who had been trained in critical incident stress debriefing, ran the team through that, and I really understood how much that could help.
But now, we do incident stress calls. If there's a really bad call, everybody will meet after the call and discuss it, and everybody will make sure everybody else is okay. That never happened at the beginning. Not because they didn't care, just because we didn't know.
They also would take the time to get together outside of that and just have social events. And that's where I think the magic happens with team members is you need to decompress and you need to get to know those people outside of those stressful situations.
The people that join North Shore Rescue, they're all kind of extreme people, and they all got these extreme trips they want to go on. So somebody would come up with a plan, okay, I want to go to Bolivia and climb the 3 highest mountains in Bolivia, Illimani, Sayama, Huayna Potosi. Who wants to come? So I'd go, and every year was just an amazing trip.
We went to Europe in 1973, 5 guys from North Shore Rescue. We couldn't afford to go, but Carl Winter was going to visit his family. 4 of us said, we're coming. And we had a great time climbing. We had managed to do a rescue in Germany.
You get to know every aspect of them. When you're on a rescue, you know what kind of knot he's going to tie. You know what his, preference is to which ropes he uses and what length, and the team building and the experience you get are amazing.
My passion was the mountains, so everything I've really done has always allowed me to try and get into the mountains.
Bridget Milsom is the only female team leader of North Shore Rescue.
I was team leader from 2003 to 2007.
Bridget had a tremendous skill set.
She was a climber. She was as well trained, if not better trained, than most of us.
I have a lot of respect for Bridget. Here was this woman surrounded by men in this men-dominated world of rescue, and she was crushing it.
There weren't very many women on the team, and that's something that now, thank goodness, we've improved on. Because with women, there's a different balance that happens on all sorts of different activities that we do. So it just meant a lot to me to bring my skill sets, not just first aid and not just mountaineering, but also some of the management stuff that I felt that the team needed at the time.
We're still in the minority, and why that is, I honestly can't really put a finger on it, but we are very welcomed in the spaces that we are in the team, which is all of them.
When I first joined, I heard some horror stories that it was just like an old boys club, but thankfully it's not been like that at all. I've had nothing but like a warm welcome from the team.
We are off the ground.
And the best part about being a woman on the team is it doesn't matter at all. Like, I do the same things that everyone else does. You get treated the same. I think the team values commitment. Like, are you showing up? Are you contributing? And as long as you're doing that, like, it doesn't matter kind of who you are.
It's like a family. Everybody looks out for everybody, no matter who you are or where you've come from. There are other women, and so, it's great to have each other.
It's actually given me, like, a different appreciation for being a woman in a male-dominated field as well, because there's that potential that there's some role modeling too that I never expected to have, where you get to go to these community events and talk to young girls.
In BC, we've got 80 search and rescue groups.
And they get to see a woman doing this type of work.
It really is a good opportunity. If you have skills, you have the time, and you want to give, as a volunteer, the time to be on a rescue team, North Shore Rescue has a place for women, absolutely.
So we have done a number of interesting things over the years in order to include the spouses if we can. We've had a full tux and gown dinner on the top of the Lions with tables and catered with good food and wine. The annual Christmas dinner is also when you were the awarding of the Green Door, which is the biggest blunder of the year.
Everybody looks for those mistakes and then submits it for nomination at the Christmas party that happens at the end of the year.
We take this actual door and we drape a big tablecloth over it, and we slowly march it into the Christmas banquet. Very solemn occasion.
Fourth Green Door nomination for the evening.
And it's hotly contested, and everyone can hardly wait and hoping that they're not going to be named, but if they are, then it's an honor to be have your name put on the board. And these are the kinds of things that really, again, tie us together.
Picture this in the theater of your mind. It is a cold and windy day. We're on day 2 trying to find Jackman.
This gentleman is prepared, and we feel that he has an excellent chance for survival.
We were using at that point the aircraft provided by the television stations. We are communicating with our troops on the ground, which are all in yellow. And there is one person down there that does not respond. And I made some comment. We're going to have a talk to that guy, because he should be on his radio and letting us know how he is, etc. And Martin Caldwell, who was sitting behind me, said, "Dave, isn't that the guy we're looking for?" As a result of that, I received the prestigious Green Door. And at that time, you had to wear the frame of the toilet seat around your head so you would be recognized as the Idiot of the Year.
Behind all of that fun and frolic, the principle of the Green Door in North Shore Rescue is to celebrate our failures. From that, we all learn A, we can make mistakes. B, we can learn from our mistakes.
In 1996, 97 when I started, there were a whole bunch of us that joined at the same time. Quite a few of the 10 are still involved with the team in some way or another. If you love the outdoors, then you've just got to continue doing what you love to do and help those people who like doing the same as you.
Finally, just before 2 this morning, they were found.
They seem to be in quite good condition.
It's been really a chance to contribute to your community. I get to pay back doing things that I like to do. I consider it as a privilege.
Our hearts were in our throats for a lot of this stuff.
I'm very proud of what I have done with the team, what the team has done in the 45 years that I've been associated with it.
So are they at the Medal Network?
Yeah.
I get to do cool things with my friends, right? Because the rest of the team members, they become your friends.
Do you guys need any water or anything?
I'm not saying you're doing cool things all the time, not at all, but sometimes you're doing kind of cool things.
The team has given me more than I've given the team. And I feel very, very fortunate just to be a member of this awesome team.
I think everybody should volunteer and bring their skills that they have and assist with the community.
So like to see, a woman's eyes light up as somebody brings her kid back that she thought may have died, and just to see that love and be part of it.
Giving a family closure is as important to me as it is to save someone, because it's so unsettling that helping a family close the gate on that problem is a reward in itself.
When you look at what's happened from 1965 to today, it's just absolutely astounding.
Look for this evolve into all the way from rope rescue, wilderness rescue to helicopters.
And it makes me very proud. It makes me feel good that I am a little part of that team, North Shore Rescue.